here I'm giving some comments. Okay, so I'm giving some comments. So I have given a hash over there, and I'm saying I want to find out the greatest. Okay, so greatest among three numbers. Okay, so greatest amongst. Okay, so three numbers. So what is the algorithm over here? So the algorithm over here is I should be reading three numbers, right? So what is the procedure to read the numbers? I'm giving the identifier. So I said A is equal to
Integer.
okay. So I said A is equal to. So I'll be using input method, right? So before giving the input method, I want it to be an integer. So I'm saying integer. And then inside the integer, I'm saying input. Then I'm saying enter the number. Okay. So I said enter the number. Okay. So this is how I am reading in a number, which is an integer type. Okay. Fine. So I'm reading in the three numbers like this. So I'm saying B is equal to. So I'm saying B is equal to int input, enter the number. So here, rather than saying enter the number, I say enter A, and here I'll say enter B. Okay, so in the third case, I'll say enter C. So all these numbers are of integer type. Okay, so I have read three numbers which are A, B, and C. Okay, right. So this is how I'm writing the code. Okay, so let us run this and see. So you can see at the bottom of the screen, girls, it is saying enter A. Can you see at the bottom of the screen, it is saying enter A.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So say I didn't write the logic yet, but I'm just showing you that this is the way like you will be reading the input. Okay, so then it is saying enter B. So I say I have entered 7, and then I have entered 1. Okay, so this is how I am just reading. It's just reading the numbers. Okay, I just have read the numbers. That's it. Okay, now we need to write the logic to actually compare the numbers among each other. Okay, to do that, I have a construct which is called as an if. Okay, so I'm saying if this logic is in your hands and whatever logic you write, it will execute. That's it. If you write your logic wrong, then your output also will be wrong. Okay, so here I'm writing the logic. So I'm saying if space, then I'm saying A is greater than B and a column. So see the syntax over here, ma. I'm saying A is greater than B and a column I have put. Is the syntax clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I'm coming into the next line. So this is how I have put a block. Okay, say for example, I am not putting indentation. Say I didn't put any indentation, but I'm just saying print A annanandi. For example, I just said I didn't put any indentation over here, but simply I am saying print A annanu. Is it right or wrong?
Wrong.
Indentation
Is
error.
this right?
Wrong, ma'am.
So I'll get an indentation error. So if I run this, it will not work for me. Okay. So it will say that print A. Okay. So there is an error, indentation error. Can you see this here? So it's saying indentation
Yes,
error,
ma'am.
expected an indented block. Okay, so it's always important that you give indentation. So generally it is a 4 spaces, but automatically after if it comes to the block. Okay, so you need to worry on that. Okay, but I'm not going to write print statement, but I'm going to write another if over here. So this is the concept of nested if. Okay, so one if inside another if. Okay, so I'm saying if A is greater than B, Gada, now I'm checking whether A is greater than C, and I'm putting a colon. Okay, so I'm putting a colon, and if that condition becomes true, then I want to print that A is greatest. Okay, so A is greatest. A is greatest. Okay, so this is what I want to print, or I want to say A is largest. Okay, so whatever you want, you will be printing over here. So this is how I am writing it. Okay, so if this condition is false, okay, so which means that C is greatest. So I'm putting an else over here. So then a colon, and then I am saying, print C is greatest. Okay, so or else I'm saying C is largest. Okay, so this if and else are inside this if. Okay, right. So over here. Okay, so I'll say else, and inside this else. Okay, so I am writing another if, and I'm saying if B is greater than C. Okay, so if B is greater than C, then I'm saying print. Okay, so B is largest. Okay, so I'm saying B is largest. Okay, so else what it is? Else I'm putting a colon and I'm saying print. Okay, C is largest. Okay, so this is what we have written over here. This is how I have written the code. So we'll try to check by giving 3 values. Okay. So I'm running the code. So you can see a run button over here. So this is the run button. So just click on the run button. So the code will execute for you. So see here that it is showing enter the value of A. So I'm giving 12 for A. And then I'm giving 6 for B. And then I'm giving 3 for C. Okay, so it's saying A is greatest. So you can see the output over here. Okay, so what's the output? It is saying A is greatest. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I want to give different values and check for the other one, because you need to check for everything. So I'm saying 67, then I get 89, and then I gave 15. So it's saying B is largest. Okay. So it is saying B is largest. You can see the output there. Okay. So check for C also. Okay. So I have given 1, 2, and 3. It is saying 3 is largest. Okay. So these are the 3 flow of executions inside your program. Okay. So and we are checking for all these 3 things. If everything has arrived according to what you want for what you have written the program, then your algorithm is correct and your implementation is correct. Okay, so is it clear, girls, what we observed in this program? What and all we have learned in this program? In this program, we have learned how to read in integer variables. Okay, by using an explicit typecasting, we have converted the string because input is a function which will actually read in a string. So we are taking the string, converting it into an integer and storing it in a variable A. All that is happening in the statements over there. And after that, we are giving an if construct. Okay, so if construct, the syntax is that if will return true or false. Okay, so if condition will have 2 outcomes, true or false. And you can also give the relational or comparison variables between the comparison operators between the variables. So I'm saying A is greater than B, and don't forget to give a colon over here. So say I forgot to give a colon. So I have removed a colon after if. Okay, so if I remove a colon after if, so you can see it is throwing me an error. Okay, so it's saying syntax error. Okay, and it is also showing me the line where the syntax error have occurred. So the syntax error has occurred at this particular line statement. If A is greater than B, I forgot to give a colon. Okay, right. Okay, we'll write another program wherein we'll be using elif. Okay. I'm reading in only one variable. Okay. So I'm saying if A is equal to 0. Okay, so if A is equal to 0, then I am saying A is 0. The program to demonstrate the usage of different constructs. Okay, right. So herein I'm using okay, so elif will be followed by a condition. So I'm saying elif A is greater than 0. Okay, so if A is greater than 0, then I am saying A is positive. Okay, so then I'm saying A is positive. Okay, and in the final else, I am saying because there is only one outcome now, so which is A is negative. Okay, so I'm saying A is negative. A very simple program to demonstrate the usage of if, elif, and else. So I'm removing these comments because it's not related to this program. Okay, so this program is related to finding out what is the sign of a number. If A is equal to 0, you're saying 0, greater, positive, and else you're saying it's negative. So when I run this program, so it's asking me to enter the value of A. So say I have entered 0. So you can see the output over here. So I have entered 0. See, I have entered 0 and it is saying A is 0. Okay, I'm giving a positive number or a negative number. So I said -8. Okay, I'm running it once again and I'm giving a positive number. So I gave an 8. So it's saying A is positive. Can you see the third output? So I said enter A, I have given 8 and it is saying A is positive.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
okay. So these are the three outcomes of the program wherein there are three flows of execution. Okay, so one is if is true, other is if elif is true, and the other is both are false, and then automatically it comes to the else. So the argument on it give you can find out whether a given character is vowel or not. So let me write that program. Okay, so I am reading in character. Okay, so I'm saying ch is equal to or a character. So I don't need to typecast it with an integer. So I'm just taking it off. So then I say enter a character. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm actually checking whether this character equal to. Okay, so I'm saying A. Give that or symbol. Okay, so you just have to give OR. So I have given OR. So then you will be saying character is equal to AE. And then I'm saying OR. Then I'm saying CH is equal to, okay, so AEI. Then I'm saying OR. CH is equal to O. Okay, or I'm saying CH is equal to U. Okay, so all the characters that I have given here are the lower characters. You can also give the upper AEIOU also, okay? Or else what you can do is you can convert your character into lowercase by using the lower method and then apply this, okay? So here in the character is vowel, okay? So rather so use this elif, okay, for giving the uppercase vowels. Okay, so I can say this is capital A and I'm saying CH is equal to capital E and then this will be capital I and this will be capital O and this will be capital U. And again, I'm saying it is an vowel. Okay, so it is vowel. Okay, finally, I'm saying it's not a vowel or I'm saying it's a consonant. Here it is asking me to enter the character. So you can see that on the screens. Okay, I have entered T. Okay, I have entered T over here. So it is saying it is a consonant. Okay, because T is not in AEIOU. AEIOU are the vowels. Okay, so T is a consonant. So it is telling that it is T is a consonant. So say I have given capital A. Okay, so it's saying it's an vowel. Okay, it is vowel. Is the program clear, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll write a program. Now I will show you how to write while. Okay, tell me the logic for finding out the reverse of a number. Just
Initialization of n. Then if n is greater than 0,
okay, ma. Okay.
R value to store n modulus 10
Storing n modulus 10.
at the last digit, ma'am.
Okay, we'll get the last digit. Good. Then
We do n divided equal to 10 by 10. And we repeat
Okay.
until n becomes less than 0.
There are only two steps you told me. You said there's like number mod 10 and you're saying number divided by 10.
Before n divided by equal to 10, I have to print R value. Last digit, ma'am. Last digit of the number. Take sum is equal to 0 in the beginning itself before the if condition. And we can take sum is equal to sum asterisk 10 plus R.
Okay, what will happen?
I will get reverse digits, ma'am.
No. What?
If I am taking 756 as a number, first it will take R is equal to 6. And since in the beginning I have given sum is equal to 0, 0 asterisk 10, 0 plus 6. First it will get 6. And then n divided by 10. Since it is 75, then it will come and R is equal to 5. Previous sum is equal to 6. 6 asterisk 10 plus 5, 65.
So you're
And
moving
then
it higher places, right?
yes, ma'am.
So yeah. So when you say that sum into 10, what happens is you are moving it into the higher places from the units place or from the ones place. You're moving it one step higher to the tens place. Okay. Likewise, you will be moving it. Okay. This algorithm. Okay. So and finally, what we need to do in this case, ma.
So we have to print some value.
Right. Okay, so and so I'm saying number. So I'm saying so we are using this input statement over here, and then I am saying enter the number. Okay, so we are trying to take a variable. So here I'm not summing it up. So I'm taking a reverse variable. So I'm saying REV, so that I'll be getting the naming of the variables. I am doing it appropriately so that I'll understand it. Okay, so that has to be reversed. Okay, so I'm putting 0 inside my reverse initially. And so I'm saying while is a keyword. So every letter in while is in lowercase. So I'm saying while, and then I'm saying number. So I'm saying which is not equal to 0. Okay, or else you can also say that it is greater than 0. Okay, so it's not equal to 0. And then don't forget to put a colon. So I'm putting a 0 and then a colon. Okay, so this is the block of while. So you can see that indentation automatically came with the editor. So if it is not coming with the editor, you have to give the indentation. Generally, the indentation is 4 spaces. Okay, so now I'm saying, so I'm taking any other variable to extract the last digit. So I'm saying L is equal to, so the last digit of the number. So I'm saying L is equal to num mod 10. Okay, so this will extract the last digit of the number. Okay, so after extracting the last digit, what I'm doing is I'm moving the last digit to the higher places if there are more digits. If there are no more digits, then this will not happen. Okay. So I'm saying reverse is equal to reverse into 10. Okay. And this here I'm adding this L over here. Okay. Right. Is equal to num divided by 10. Tell me, girls, will this program work for me?
No, ma'am, wrong, ma'am.
Why it will not work for me?
Single slash means it will give floating value, ma'am. It will iterate for more times.
Wonderful. 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 Who is it? What's your name?
Harshita, ma'am.
Harshita. Very good, Harshita. Very good. All of you should clap for Harshita. Wonderful, Harshita. This will not work for me because number divided by 10 will give me a floating point value. So I have to give the float division. Okay. So I have to send num 2 slashes and a 10. Okay. So now it will work for me. So I'm saying the reverse of, because here num has become 0. So I'm taking in another variable. So I'm saying a is equal to num. So I'm just making my output look better. Okay, so the reverse of percentage D. Okay, so the reverse of percentage D is percentage D. And then I'm saying percentage D. So this I have already shown you in the previous classes. Okay, so what all I want to print, the first percentage D is A and the second percentage D is reverse. Okay, so let us check whether this works or not. So I'm entering a number. Okay, the number. So I'll be entering the number 789. This is how the reverse of a number is obtained. Okay, so the logic is in your hands, Amma. How you're going to use while, how you're going to use if, how you're going to combine it together. So all that is in your hands. Okay, so you just need to learn how to use it, how to put it in the program, and syntactically how to make it correct. So that's what you will be learning. Okay, how to give while in the program. We'll see how to give for in a program. Okay, how to give. Okay, so this is the syntax. So I'm saying for I in, and I'm giving the range over here. Okay, so the range I'm saying 1 comma, I'm giving 11. Okay, so we'll try to see this. Okay, how this works. Then I'm saying print and I'm saying okay. Jagrataga చూడండి అమ్మ code చూడండి 1 to 10 numbers. So which will be this 11 minus 1. Okay, so end minus 1. So which I already have told you. In the range function, argument as well, right? What is the third argument? The third argument is the step which is optional. In the range function, there is another argument other than this end and beginning and ending. So you have another argument which is step. What is the value of step in this case?
1, ma'am.
1.
It's 1, right?
One, ma'am.
It's 1. It's 1, right? In this case, it is 1. Good. Okay, but if you want it to happen 2 times, okay, I can give it 2 over here. Okay, రెండు ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు. 3. 3 plus 2, which is 5. 5 plus 2, which is 7. 7 plus 2, 9. 9 plus 2, ఎంత అయింది? 11 అయింది. But the range వచ్చేసరికి 10 వరకే కాబట్టి, so 11 will not print on the screen for you. So this step is like, in case if you just wanted to increment by 1, then you don't require to give anything. But if you want it more than 1, you will be mentioning it over here. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for example, this step cannot be 0. You cannot put this step to be 0. Negative step and reverse want it from 10 నుంచి 1 దాకా కావాలి negative thing. Okay, so I can simply say minus. Okay, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 అలా ప్రింట్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఇఫ్ I give -1, okay. Stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can see. So the 2, what's the output?
True, ma'am.
True. Output is true, right? Okay, so these 2 lines I have written is the program. Okay, so for everything I'm showing is alphabet and numbers. Okay, is alphabet. If this particular string S1 is consisting of alphabet letters and numbers, then this method will return true. Okay, since it is having alphabet as well as numbers, it is returning true for me. Is it clear? If string contains only white space characters. Okay, so if the string is having only white space characters, you will return true, else you will return false. Okay, so this is how you put it in a program. Just 2 lines of code only to check whether is space or not. And since I'm saying there are 2 outcomes of is space, the first one is true and the second one is false. I'm showing you these 2 outcomes over here in 2 different examples. So since S1 is containing only spaces, what it will do, it will print true for me in the output. In the next example, consider this example over here. So I said S1 is equal to hello string annanu. And what did I say? Space. Now what will be the output of this? Now tell me what will be.
Hello world is an alphabet.
There is no space. Yes.
There is space. There is space in between hello and world. But according to the definition of is space, it says that it should contain only white space characters. So along with the white space characters, in the second example, I'm having characters also. So that's why it is returning false for me. Is space clear to everybody?
Yeah.
So the next method is upper method. This also will return true or false. Is upper. Wherever you see is, it means that it returns a Boolean value. Check anamata. Whenever you see checking, okay. So in uppercase, it will say true. Else it will say it is false. Okay. So let me.
Yes, ma'am.
And every character over here is in uppercase. Okay, so that's why it is telling it is true. Okay, here it is not in uppercase, so it is giving me a false. Okay, function will return the length of the string. So I'll be saying len, and inside it I'm passing S1 as an argument. So len S1, ilanti vaatini manam function ani antam. S1. So it will return the length of the string for me. So what is the length of the string? It is 5. So it is giving 5 for me. So here I didn't give anything. I just gave a null string over here and I'm trying to find out the length of the string. It is saying 0 characters. So there are no characters at all. So it is showing a 0 over here. Is len clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next one is okay, so what we have given here is LJust is taking 2 arguments. The first argument is width and the second argument is fill characters. Okay, so now just look into the program. So what did I have? What I have written in the program? Then I said print str.ljust. Ljust is left justification. So here the width is 10. So I'm taking 10 characters width and I'm filling in the string into the left side of this 10 characters width, and for the rest of the characters I'm padding with the character that I mentioned in LJust. The character I mentioned in LGest is an asterisk. So the rest of the characters are 5. Say, for example, the length of the string itself is 10 characters. Then there won't be any padding. Okay, so then there won't be any padding. Doing is, we are, it's a, you can say like it is vice versa of LGest. LGest is left justification, RGest is right justification. Okay, so for how many characters? For 10 characters, because you have mentioned 10 over here. For 10 characters, you want the string over here to justify to the right. Okay, and you want the left out spaces, okay, columns without characters to be padded with this particular fill char over here. So what is the fill char here? The fill char is an asterisk. It needn't be an asterisk. It can be a space. It can be, by default, it's a space. You can also give a comma, or you can give whatever you want. Any character you can give it over there. So it will fill it with that. So this is RGest. Clear, ma? Okay. So the next Z fill. Z stands here for zero fills. Okay. Z stands here for the zero fills. In the just and RGest, wherein the rest of the characters are filled with asterisks, but based on the left justification and right justification. But here what we are doing is we are putting zeros, left padded. So here the string is left padded with zeros. So you're padding it with prefixed with the zeros to a total of width characters. So here, what is the width that I have mentioned? The width that I have mentioned is 10 columns. Okay, so the width is 10 columns. In the 10 columns, it will fill the string to the right, and whatever is the leftover. So how many letters are there in the string? 4 letters are there in the string. Here I mentioned the width to be 10. So how many characters are left out? 6 characters are left out. So for this particular 6 columns, it will put a 0. Okay, so it is putting 6 zeros and then followed by the string. And the whole string in the output will be for 10 characters. Is the first example clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And how you're putting in the program? So you're saying str.zfill and then you're passing width as an argument. Okay, so this is how you're writing it. Now coming to the second example. In the second example, I have given a sign over here. So I'm saying minus 123, which is again considered to be a string. So even that minus will be retained in the output. Okay, so in the output, it will put this minus by, so 10 characters are here, but the sign is also retained over here. Okay, so these are the two outputs that you can just see for zfill. Is these two outputs clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now moving on to the 20th string method. So here this is lower. We in the previous string methods, we have seen is lower. What's the difference between is lower and lower? Meghana? Meghana, can you tell me?
Lower check this string.
Is lower
Yeah.
means checks the
Yeah.
Boolean value true or false.
Checks
And the
whether it
lower
is
means
low or
it is converts to lower value, ma'am.
Yes, the output is very much similar, visible to checking. Whenever you see is, it means that it checks whether it is true or false. Okay, so here str is equal to Sinu. Then I'm saying str dot lower. Since I gave everything, every character inside this, it will convert it into the lowercase. Okay, Sinu. I gave everything in lowercase, it is converting it into the lowercase. Anything you give combination, it will convert it into lowercase. Whatever you give, it will convert it into lowercase. Okay, so now here it is, the next method is upper. You also have seen is upper. Is upper and upper. Is upper will check, it will return a Boolean type, whether it is true or false. Upper will just convert the string into uppercase. Okay, so here it is converting it. So is these two examples clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So the method removes all leading white spaces in string. Okay, so any white spaces that it is having, the string is having, it will remove and print only the text for you. Any leading white spaces, okay, it will just remove the leading white spaces. If there are white spaces after that inside, like this is a Python class and all that, that will be printed as it is, but leading white spaces will be removed. So here there are some leading white spaces before Sinu, they are removed and the output is like this. There is another variation of this L strip where L stands for left. Okay, so whatever is preceding that white spaces will be removed. Now I'm saying Sinu over here. There are so many S I have repeated over here. So I can also pass an argument which is S over here. Okay, so the preceding ones only, the leading characters which is S will be removed from the string. Okay, so all the S's which are leading. Okay, so all the leading S's will be removed. So all these S will be removed and it will say EENU. Okay, so this is what is the purpose of left strip. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Filling white spaces in the string. L strip ఏం చేస్తుంది? What do L strip do? See, you know, and then there are so many spaces over here. All these spaces will be removed. And it will just print a Sinu over here in the output. Now, other variation is that I'm passing a character. So I'm passing U over here. So which means all the ending, trailing U's will be removed. Trailing means that ending. Trailing means that ending. All the ending U's will be removed. So it will say SEEN. Is this examples clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, right. So this is the 24th method. So which is simply a strip. Okay, so we have seen R strip and will do both the things like for the L strip and R strip. It will do both the things. Okay, so what is L strip? L strip will remove all the leading spaces. R strip will remove all the trailing spaces. Now what this strip will do? It will remove all the leading and the trailing spaces for you. So I have given spaces before Sinu and also I have given spaces after Sinu. So when I said str.strip, it will remove the before spaces and the after spaces for you. Okay, so that's what we have done over here. And anything in between, it will not remove. Okay, so if I'm saying this is welcome to my Python class and all that, it will only see whether there are spaces before this welcome. Okay, and after spaces after Python class. Okay, right. And here I said in the second example, I have said I am Sinu and I want it to remove I am. So it will remove I am and it will print Sinu for me on the screen. And in the second case, I have mentioned Sinu. Okay, so it will remove Sinu and print welcome for me. In the next case, see here, in the next case, I said remove am. Why it didn't remove am over here for me? Because it is not leading or it is not at the end. So it is in the middle. So it is not possible for you to remove something which is in the middle. To show you that, I have given this example. Is this concept clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so anything in the middle, it is not possible for you to clear. You can see the first 5 characters are hello and the last characters are also hello, but I have given this hello in reverse order. Can you make it out? For the str, str is equal to hello girls. After that, I have given OLLEH, right? Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes,
How did I give that hello at the end? That I have given it in reverse order, right? Only that hello I have given it in reverse order. Okay. So your strip will also identify such kind of things. Okay. So hello, even if it is given in reverse order or in straightforward, it will identify it and it will remove it. So in the first case, the last hello, I have given it in reverse order. And in the second str, I have given it in the proper order. But you can see the output for both the outputs. It has removed the before hello and after hello and before hello and after hello. And it is giving me girls over here on the output. Is this example clear? Very, very helpful example for you. This is.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear? Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So moving on to the next example. So the next one is like max str. So which will return the highest alphabetical character in the ASCII. Okay. So I have given a string which is I am Sinu, and I just wanted to find out the maximum character in terms of the ASCII. Okay, so U is the maximum letter over here in I am Sinu string. So it is printing U. Okay, so it is U is higher than exclamation. So that's why it has come over there. Okay, in the similar way, I'm having this min function, which will actually give the lowest ASCII value. So among Sinu, E is the lowest alphabetical character. So it is printing E for me on the screen. So is it clear with max string and min string?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the next one is 27th method. Okay, so this is very easy for you to understand. Okay, with the, you can look into the output. So here I'm saying replace. So the method name is replace and old comma new. Okay, and so I can also, there is an option over here, third parameter. Okay, so this replace is having 3 parameters. The first parameter is old, the second parameter is new, and the third parameter is max, which is an optional parameter. Any optional parameter will be given in square brackets, remember. Okay, so that's the documentation procedure. So we just give it in square brackets. So max is square bracket. Now what happens, you can understand old and new. Okay, so the old and new means that replace the old text with the new text. Wherever you find the old text, replace the old text with the new text. Okay, so let us look into the first example. In the first example, I said S is equal to hi, hello, and I have given 4 highs over there to just make you understand, to replace hi with welcome. Okay, I want to replace wherever there is an occurrence of hi, I want to replace hi with welcome. Okay, so what is the output? Wherever there is hi, it has replaced hi with welcome. Is the first output clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to the second example, wherein I have given this optional argument. The optional argument, I have given it to 2. What does this 2 mean is, it means max. It means the occurrences of old in the string with the new, the number of occurrences. So I want to replace hi with welcome for only 2 occurrences of hi. Only for the 2 occurrences of hi, wherein it will process the string from 0th index, right? So from left to right. So how many highs are there? There are 5 highs over here. But what I want to do, I just wanted to replace the first 2 highs with welcome. So that's why I have mentioned 2 over here. If I don't mention anything, it means by default, every occurrence will be replaced with the new text. But here I want to replace only the first 2 occurrences with the welcome. So that's why I have mentioned over here. So you can very clearly see that it's telling welcome, hello, welcome, and then hi, hi, hi. Is both the cases clear?
Yes, ma'am.
In title case. Now, title case is also considered to be camel case. Camel case means that every first occurrence, the first occurrence, okay, first letter in a word is capitalized. Okay, so this is what is called as title case or camel case. But in generally, we say that it is a camel case or else title case. Okay, right. So if you're giving every character in uppercase, okay, it doesn't do anything. It will just give the doesn't do anything. Okay, so this is regarding the title. And the next method. Okay, so this is swap cases. Okay, so swapping the cases. So uppercase will be swapped to the lowercase and lowercase will be swapped to the uppercase. Okay, so this is toggling. Okay, so toggle means that on and off, like you switch lowercase and lowercase to uppercases, wherein you can see that in the output over here. And in the next case, I have given everything in lowercase. It's then changing it to the uppercase. Uppercase, it's changing into the lowercase. So there is a combination of characters and lowercase and uppercase. So it will be just swapping it. But if you specifically want it to be in lower to up delimiter, So here it returns a list of substrings separated by the specific delimiter. Delimiter can be a comma, it can generally by default it's a space, or it can be anything like you can mention what the delimiter is. Delimiter is the separator between the words. Okay. If no delimiter is specified, then by default it splits the string on all white space characters. Okay, right. So split is a method. Maybe this is very helpful to you to find out the number of words in a sentence. Okay, so you'll have like which will ask you to find out in your applications. Like I have taken a string as hi girls, welcome to my Python class. And then I said s dot split. Okay, so now here, as I said, it returns a list. Okay, so it is returning a list for me. So which is in square brackets spaces. So based on the white spaces, it has splitted all my words into elements of the list, and it is giving me a list as an output. So in the next case, so this is the second example. So in the second example, we have given a delimiter over here, which is comma. Okay, I want the list, I want it to return some elements. The first one is hi and the second one is girls, welcome to Python class. Okay, so this is the, and also I have given any commas over here other than.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to the join list. Okay, so join list, it's an opposite of split. Okay, so the in split, like we are actually giving a delimiter over here. So here I'm mentioning the delimiter to be a hyphen. So based on the hyphen, it will just join it. You can give it anything. You can give spaces, you can give star, whatever it is. It's an opposite of split. Okay, so the delimiter is mentioned. So I'm saying delimiter, put it, you can also take it as a character and then give ch dot also over here. So I'm saying delimiter dot join and all this will be joined. So is join clear?
Yes, ma'am.
To the second one, I'll finish this and close it because I'm just having 2 minutes to discuss. I'll discuss this and we'll close it. Okay, so now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, right. So the 32nd method is identifier. So is identifier returns true if the string is a valid identifier. Okay, you know identifier rules, right? What are the rules of an identifier? That the first letters of the identifier cannot be numbers. Okay, so likewise you have certain rules, right? So it will just check for the rules. If you want to name an identifier and you're confused whether this can be the name of an identifier, you can use is identifier. So I already told you, if any method is having a preceding text prefix as is, it means that it will check and give you it's a Boolean value. It gives a Boolean value, true or false. Is nothing but checking. Okay. So str is equal to hello. So I'm checking whether this is a valid identifier or not. So it's saying yes, hello. It started with a character S. It's a valid identifier. But in the next case, I started with 1, 2, 3. It is saying it's not an identifier. So it's saying it's false. So you can check for the other things also. Okay. So I just gave you 2 examples over here. If you want, you can also check for the other ones. Okay. Is identifier clear? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to the 33rd one. Okay. So this is enumerate. Okay, so the method name is enumerate, which is taking in a string over here. Okay, so it returns an enumerate object that lists the index and value of all the characters in the string as pairs. What are the pairs? The index and the value. Okay, it's giving it as a pairs. Here, you should not forget to give a list over here because else it will just give an object which will be very difficult for you to understand. So you have to typecast it. Okay, so this enumerate object, you have to typecast it to a list, or you have to typecast it to a tuple, or you have to typecast it to a dictionary. Okay, so you can take any of the formats to actually typecast the enumerate object. Okay, so if you are not typecasting it, it gives an enumerate object. You won't be able to understand anything if you are not giving this. This typecast is very, very important here. Okay, so it returns an enumerate object that lists the index and the value of all the characters in the string as pairs. So I have given hello and see that I have given the space after hello also. Okay, so even that space is counted as into the index. So since I said it's a list And as this enumerate gives it as a pair of index and value. So the first index is 0 with the character is H. So it is saying 0 and H is paired. And you can see there is a square bracket, which means that it's a list. Okay. And 1 E and 2 L and 3 L and 4 0 and 5 under space. Okay. So this is the first one. And coming to the second case, wherein I have converted it into, I have typecasted it into tuple. Okay. So here you can see that it's, you can also use dictionary. Okay. Right. Is this enumerate clear? So it will just function will pair the index and the characters, and it will return an enumerate object. So this enumerate object need to be typecast. Okay, you have to typecast it to a list, or you have to typecast it to a tuple, or you have to typecast it to a dictionary. Else it will be, the object will not be able, you won't be able to understand the object. Okay. Right. Is this clear? So this typecasting is important. It's mandatory, like list and then you write the enumerate str, right? So this is important. Is this enumerate clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next one is split lines. Okay. So this split lines will split the string into lines. Okay. So it will return a list over here. So you can see the definition, or you can see the description of the method. The description of the method says that it returns a list of lines in the string. Okay. It breaks the given string into numbers of lines, whereas there is a new line or /r in the string. So now you can see that there is one \n here and \r here. So what it is doing, whenever it encountered a \n, it is splitting the text. Okay, so hello has come as the first element of the list. Girls have come to the next element as into the list, and rest everything has come because there is no new line and written escape sequence over here. So this is what is split lines. If you're having new lines and carriage written, it will just separate the text based on the new line and the carriage written. Is it clear?
Clear, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The outcome is a list. Okay, so it will give a list. So you can see a square bracket over here. Okay, right. So this split lines is having one argument, which is key pens. Okay, so what is this key pens? This key pens can take true or false. Okay, so this key pens can take true or false. The argument key pens is optional. Okay, so if you, in the previous case, I showed that as an optional. I didn't give anything. If you just remember the previous slide. So I didn't give anything over here in the split lines. Okay, so I haven't given anything over here in the split lines, but now I'll be mentioning whether it is true or false. So when I mention it true or false, if I say true, what does it mean by true? Meaning that \n and \r also need to be included in the text. Okay, so if it is false, it is removed. If it is true, it means that to include this \n and \r also in the elements, in the text. So is it clear, meaning true and false of these key pens?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So this is in and not in the strings. So in the first example, we are having Python programming, and then the string is like program. And I want to check whether program is there in Python programming. So I'll just say str in str2 in str1. So what is in, if it is there, it will return true for me. If it is not there, it will return false for me. So since str program is there in Python programming, this if condition will become true and it will print found for me on the screen. Okay. Now I'm checking for whether Java is there in Python programming or not, in Python programming string or not. So Java is not there. Okay, so this in will return false. So it will search for an else. So there is an else, and wherein I'm saying not found. So it will print not found on the screen for me. Is this program clear to everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
What will do is not in will return a true if it is not found. Not in will return a true if it is not found. Now, for example, consider the second example. You will understand this with the second example. So I'm checking whether Java is there in Python programming. So Java not in str1. Okay, so I'm saying Java not in Python programming. It's not there. So what it will do, it will return true. Okay, so not in will return true if it is not there. Is this sentence clear to everybody? To be true. So that's why the output that I get is saying found. Okay, so this not in program, not in program. So it is there. That's why it will return false for me. So what will happen? This if will not execute, this else will execute, and it is saying not found. Okay, so this is just to illustrate in and not in how to use in and not in strings. Emma, so here I will close the session. ORD method will read ASCII code for me. So I said CH is equal to A. What is ASCII code of lowercase a, which is 97? So ORD of CH will return 97. ORD of B is returning 98 for me. So is it clear with what is ORD, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now then the character for me when I give the ASCII code. CHR is reverse of ORD and CHR will return the character when I give the ASCII value. So here I'm giving ASCII value as a variable. I said I is equal to 97 and now I'm passing 97. So it is giving me a and 98 it is converting it into character which is a B. Is it clear, Rama? Understood what is ORD and what is CHR?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the last slide of strings.